We introduced our peony of the month for October is Goldilocks. Tell us a bit more about this herbaceous peony, Heath, and how we can do the gardening with it.
Well, as I talked about in the last episode, it's actually a really, really good time, October, to be planting and purchasing. Go to binnyplants.com. Your next season's peony tubers or roots. So ideally, the way you want to plant them is there's about 3 crucial things you need to remember, and then you shouldn't have any problems. So number 1 is when you get your peony root, or probably before that, actually, make sure you go to a reputable grower, likes of Binny Plants, ideally Binny Plants, where you get really good chunky roots that have got 3 to 5 at least eyes, which is the little pink growth buds. And if you get 3 to 5 eyes, you should get at least 1 flower stem out of that. So when you get it, plant it as soon as you get them. Plant them in a nice open sunny part of the garden without much in the way of competition from tree roots or other plants that are likely to invade over top of it. And when you plant it, don't plant it too deep so that the flower buds are either just on the surface of the soil or just under the surface of the soil. The reason you do that is that the buds need to be open to getting the cold and the frost. Peonies are not soft whatsoever. They're very, very tough, and they need that cold to activate those buds to initiate flowering for the following season.
That was a lot of people's question, actually. I'm glad you mentioned it again. We did mention it in our previous episode, but it's good to talk about that again, that peonies like cold.
They like the cold. They do like the cold. They're a tough but pretty plant. Next thing is, so we've covered don't plant them too deep, plant them in the open, and basically that's it for the winter months. Once they start to come up, then give them a light feed of something very balanced and not too powerful, so the likes of tomato fertilizer, blood and bone, something simple like that, to give those new shoots a real boost into growth, so that it plumps those buds up. The next thing is give them their next fertilizing after the finished flowering. So once the plant's exhausted all their energy into those beautiful big blooms, snip those buds off, the spent buds, that is. Of course, leave the unspent buds on, and then give them another light feed in probably July, so that as they're putting all the energy into their leaves, they can start putting the energy back into the next year's roots and, of course, flowers. The other thing is we get asked a lot is, can I plant them in pots? You can plant them in pots, but it's not something we would recommend. Peonies, again, going back to what we said earlier, they love to be cold and they like their roots to be cold. So if you put them in a pot, I know that the frost can get around the pot, but that's overall the plant's warmer above the ground, and it tends to bake in the sun. So peonies don't like that. They will survive in a pot, but they'll tend to flower a lot less. So ideally, we would recommend don't plant them into pots. Get them into the ground, and they'll be much, much happier.
Fantastic. That's really good advice for our audience, especially now when people should start to prepare for their gardens and plan for next year's. Now that's great. So I think for during the harvest month, let's also plan ahead for what we want to harvest again next year. And then soon we will be announcing our peony of the month November, which we will keep quiet for now.
It's coming around so fast.
Exactly, and we're almost towards the end of this year. I'm looking forward to 2 more episodes to conclude this entire year's Peony of the Month series. And there will be some interesting stuff we will be planning for our audience. And keep tuned and keep coming back to our channel.
And I've heard a few rumors already about what might be happening, but I won't say anything.
Let's just tease everyone for now. No spoiler. Brilliant. I'll see you in the next episode.
See you in November.
Bye.
Bye.